President Donald Trump.
French President Emmanuel Macron has held a phone call with his US counterpart Donald Trump. The call came just as he was about to meet leaders of European nations in the United Kingdom to discuss fears that Trump had isolated age-old allies. The emergency security meeting focuses on how to react to the US's diplomatic blitz on Ukraine, which left the once rock-solid partner as a potential political liability. Macron's office would not disclose details about the call with Trump. After the call, the French president greeted German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, and other leaders outside the Elysee Palace. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
The Senate this week may embark on an ambitious vote-a-rama to pass its version of a budget resolution to enact parts of President Trump's agenda.
The voting could begin Tuesday night on the GOP budget plan that earmarks $175 billion for the border and $150 billion for defense. It's part of the Senate plan to use the reconciliation process to pass two separate major spending bills this year. The House has similar goals, but is working to include all GOP priorities in one major bill. Once voting starts in the Senate, it's expected to turn into an hours-long vote-a-rama, as Democrats who cannot stop the bill with a filibuster will debate its contents and propose a long list of amendments. Bob Agnew reporting.
A badly injured child is among 19 people who were injured when a Delta Airlines plane flipped upon arrival at Toronto's Pearson Airport. The airport confirmed on X that an incident occurred Monday with the Delta flight from Minneapolis and that all 80 passengers and crew are accounted for. Video from the scene shows the jet upside down on the snowy tarmac. More at townhall.com.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbie, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news for real people.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Record-high egg prices prompting Nevada lawmakers to unanimously back suspending their cage-free egg law. But the 6 other states with similar laws in effect have shown no sign of dropping them, even if it might help lower grocery bills. By relaxing the cage-free rule, Nevada could get access to additional eggs, but the supply of all eggs remains tight because nearly 159 million birds have been slaughtered since the bird flu outbreak began to help limit the spread of the virus. Egg prices peaked at an average of $4.95 per dozen. Global shares traded mixed as investors continue to watch economic data and policy moves from President Trump, as both are likely to impact upcoming central bank moves. U.S. markets closed today for President's Day, but reopened Tuesday morning for a shortened week. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with a low temperature dipping down to 31. Tomorrow, increasing clouds. As the day moves along, look for a high temperature topping out at 58. Wednesday is just ugly. We'll have widespread rain. It'll be cold. The chance of rain turning into a wintry mix. Look for a high of 41 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
The Point. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in on this Monday edition of Sports Talk. Great to have you with us. Phil Kornblutz along with the plumber Josh Cohen here in Columbia. And we are joined by Chris Bergen from the Berge Palace over in Sardis. Phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number. I'm not sure 2 hours. Can we petition to get an extra hour tonight? So much to talk about from over the weekend and so much good stuff, so much interesting stuff to kick around. And we want to take your opinions and your thoughts as well if you want to offer them up. Again, the phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Welcome in, Bergie. How are you?
I'm doing great. I told Josh to be careful. If you label him with a nickname, it sticks on Sports Talk. And sure enough, there he is, the plumber now, from now until eternity. But maybe we could ask all the local shows around the state that were not on the air today if we can borrow their hours since they took President's Day off.
Oh, really?
So
who takes President's Day off in this business?
I was flipping through the dial today, and all I ran into were national shows across the board. I actually heard one national show that spent way too much time this morning talking about the retirement ceremony at the University of Illinois, as he pronounced it. The basketball guy, the basketball player at Illinois, I have no idea who he is. I don't follow Illinois basketball all that closely, but when they revealed his jersey, the banner was upside down.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they spent 15 or 20 minutes talking about this on a national show coming off a great weekend of sports. That was the big story to talk about this morning. I was stunned. I did not listen long.
Yeah, it was Trent somebody at Illinois. I think his first name was Trent.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sorry, Terrence Shannon Jr.
That's it. Yes, that's it.
Terrence Shannon. Yeah, that was funny. At least at USC, they spelled Ray Tanner's name right on the field and got that right. And they did a great job. What a weekend for Ray Tanner, USC baseball. Pulmonary off to a 3-0 start. Great pitching, enough hitting, but it was really about getting the wins, of course, first and foremost. Tanner wouldn't trade anything for a win, but really it was about honoring the legacy of Ray Tanner, the baseball coach at South Carolina. Forget everything else. I know as AD, he created some enemies in Gamecock Nation because that's what ADs do. But from a baseball coaching standpoint, I mean, there's nothing but love. And like dozens of his former players came back. I saw Jackie Bradley Jr., for example. Jim Toman, who'll join us at 7:30. He will give us some inside scoop on what went on over the weekend, but he was there. He was prominently involved, and they put out some great videos. His wife had a very touching video message to Ray and the Gamecock fan base. Very, very well done and very, very well deserving. And then Clemson baseball, they went 2-1 out in Texas. Very impressive the first two games, and then ran out of pitching quickly in the third game where Ole Miss lowered the boom on them. So they're off to a 2-1 start. Coastal Carolina swept their opening games, and I think they're playing. Are they playing
Not
today?
quite. They're almost finished sweeping the baseball at the beach tournament. They are actually in the top of the eighth, leading Kansas State 9-1.
Okay, so they're getting off to a great start. College of Charleston as well. Touch on all that coming up in a little bit. Also, of course, USC women get hammered yesterday by UConn. Don't think anybody saw that kind of beatdown coming, and it was a deserved beatdown because they were never really in this one. The way they beat down people is how they got beat down yesterday. Hammered on the board. Something we've kind of repeatedly touched on here is maybe their Achilles heel when it comes to playing the better teams on their schedule. And they don't play that many great teams really inside the SEC. Their best, outside of playing LSU, I mean, really, who else in the SEC stands out in women's basketball right now? Not really many. You can maybe
Tennessee,
Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
Forgot about
definitely.
Texas and Tennessee a little bit, but by and large, they've played UCLA outside the league. Played Iowa State when Iowa State was ranked, but I mean, they've lost to the three best teams that they've played. Now, they've also beaten Texas. In LSU, they've lost to three of the four best teams they've played: UCLA, Connecticut, split with Texas, and beat LSU. That was just very uncharacteristic for this USC women's basketball team. Sometimes you gotta get slapped down a little bit to sort of be humbled and maybe go back to work and go back to the grind and find what it is that made you what you are. So I'm sure that's what Dawn Staley is going to be looking at the rest of this regular season, because she's got, I think, 4 pretty winnable games the rest of the regular season, and probably Texas is not going to lose the rest of the way. There'll be a coin flip to determine who the number 1 seed is for the SEC tournament between those two, since there's no way to break the tie because they split with each other in the regular season, and then they both beat everybody else in the league. So as things stand now, unless something happens, unless there's an upset, you're going to have that situation coming up. But what do you think about that? I know that that could not have been the kind of game that you were expecting to see.
No, and that's as bad as I've seen the South Carolina women play in years. And it is. You're right, Phil. They're just not tough enough. And Dawn Staley said that during the games yesterday to Holly Rowe on ESPN, when AZ Fudd just went berserk in the third quarter, almost outscored the Gamecocks by herself in the third quarter, had 18 points. She was terrific, as was Paige Beckers. Their guard play was outstanding. They got out, they ran in transition, beat the Gamecocks up and down the floor. As I mentioned in the story, they outshot, they outworked, they out-rebounded, they out-hustled everything you want in a big game like that. And I think UConn probably took that as sort of a slap in the face, that everybody's now talking about the Gamecocks as the dominant program in women's college basketball. And they said, okay, watch us.
Yeah.
Don't forget about us. And they were outstanding yesterday. That game was close in the first quarter. Then they go on a 9-0 run. Late in the first, it's over. That game was over after the first quarter. I never would have thought that, especially at home. I mean, the effort the Gamecocks put out yesterday was embarrassing. If you're a USC fan, you cannot be pleased, and Dawn Staley was not at all, saying we just have to get tougher. I mean, she basically called her team soft, and they were. They got dominated inside, and you just wonder if the injury to Ashlyn Watkins, Phil, I look back at the stats today, she's still 5th on the team in rebounding.
Yeah.
In terms of total rebounds, and she's only played 14 games this year. So they've got to find a way to get better on defense, especially in transition. They've also got to find a way, certainly, because their 3 losses, there's a common denominator. They were out-rebounded at UCLA, they were out-rebounded at Texas, and they were dominated on the glass yesterday. If they don't get better, this is not a national championship team if they can't get better on the backboards.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which takes us to our poll question of the week. If you'd like to participate, our poll question of the week is on our X page, SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now. It's also on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. And the poll question of the week, which is brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance. Call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance questions and needs. South Carolina women routed by UConn at home Sunday, their 3rd loss of the season, all to top 7 teams. No shame in that, but if you aspire to be a national champion, do you think this team can still win the national championship? Do you think this team can still win the national championship? 85.7% of the votes say no, and 14.3% say yes. Poll question's up for several days, so make sure you get a chance to get over there and get your vote in.
I can't tell you this. That team yesterday, no way.
Yeah.
That team yesterday probably doesn't advance to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
The only advantage they're going to have, they're going to be so much more talented than the teams they'll face in the first 2 rounds. But after that, they're going to run into somebody that's going to punch them in the face the way UConn did. And if they respond the way they did yesterday, no, they're not making the Final Four.
Then there's the South Carolina men's team, which, of course, went down and lost. They are closing in on the program record for the longest losing streak in program history. went back and looked through all the seasons. I tweeted it out on Saturday night. I think it was 1938-39. They'd lost 14 in a row. So they're closing in on that. Haven't won a game in this calendar year. And so what do they do? Now, this is kind of interesting because this connects LSU and South Carolina. Ironically, they play each other tomorrow night in Baton Rouge. So LSU is sticking behind Coach Mac Mahan, who will says here, this is a story by Shay Dixon, who covers LSU, and they're sticking with their basketball coach with a focus on building the NIL budget, sources have told him. He adds that LSU and, you got it, South Carolina, had the least NIL money in the offseason. Both are at the bottom of the SEC standings. So you draw the conclusion, you equate money with winning and lack of money with losing, and I had somebody kind of tell me the same thing with South Carolina about a week or so ago about trying to fix it. They got to spend more money. And so my immediate thought is, okay, are you going to get more? Well, first of all, you're going to have to spend it before July 1st when the $20.5 million comes into play and when the new rules regarding NIL come into play. So you're going to have to do it, which you will, because there's going to be a transfer portal John window opening up for basketball here at some point, and you'll have a chance to negotiate with transfers. And so you can go spend a ton of money. The question is, do you have it? Where's it going to come from? Are you going to be able to find donors to give you that kind of money? How do you avoid misspending? How much have they misspent this year? How much did they spend on, say, Jamari Thomas? Or how much did they, well, who else came in from the portal that's playing a bunch on this year's team? I think he's about, am I forgetting somebody portal-wise? Oh, yeah. Nick Pringle. How much did they spend on Nick Pringle? I mean, those are the two transfers that they've added to the team. And I would say that Jamari Thomas has been a bust for them at this level for what he needed to be. And I'd say Pringle's been okay. He's been okay. Nothing great, doesn't dominate. He does okay. But I think anybody who watches this team knows they don't have a point guard. That seems to be the number one thing that comes up. They don't have anybody directing that team on the floor to set them up, get them in an offense, run an offense, get a better shot, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know. Colin Murray-Boyles is a fine player, maybe a really good player. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a first-round draft pick. Now, maybe the pros see some talent in him that when he gets away from college and works out and all that kind of stuff, he would get to the NBA as a first-round pick and do good things. I don't see it. I don't see enough of a game, to be honest with you. What do you think?
I think he's got the physique of an NBA player. I think that's where it ends. I would agree with you. And I think he has somewhat regressed because I think he was a lot more impactful and a lot better last year. But you talked about, overspending. Did they misspend in the transfer portal? And I think that's a very, very fair question to ask. My question is, how much of a discount, though, and how well did they spend their money last year? I mean, how much do you think they paid B.J. Mack, who to me was as critical to that team last year as Michi Johnson was and some of the other guys on that basketball team that got them to the NCAA tournament. So I think, the transfer portal giveth and it taketh away. But I think and I doubt he will, but if I'm Colin Murray-Boyles, and if he's a first-round draft pick, which I agree with you, Phil, I don't think he is, but if he gets that kind of grade, then he's got to go. Otherwise, I think he could use another year in college ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, now, Cooper Flagg is hinting about coming back for another year at Duke. Now, I don't know if he's toying with the Duke fans. There? Well, he's making good money. He's making good money, and he loves the college life. I mean, he's only a freshman, so he's, 18, 19? Do you think if he's making a couple of mil or $3 million at Duke, why go put yourself through the grind of the NBA for the rest of your life when you want to be a kid a little bit longer? Enjoy the college life if you're making that kind of money. I don't know what they're paying him. But he's making big money. But you go back to last year, they spent wisely. B.J. Mack was a great pickup because he gave you something that's rare, a big man who can hit the three. They also spent wisely on Talon Cooper, who came in and quarterbacked that team expertly.
There's your point guard.
Yeah. So, I mean, they just had a really good mix and a really good combination. They don't have that this year. They don't have it. And, maybe coaching's a little bit to do with it as well. I don't know. I think Lamont Paris and the staff, except for one change, they changed out one coach. Same people that went to the NCAA tournament last year. But another thing about Murray Boyles that would concern me, he just disappears at times offensively. Go back and look at some of the better opponents and some of the bigger games, and I think about the Auburn game last year in the SEC tournament. I think about the Oregon game in the NCAA tournament and some games this year. Just not there. I don't know that you survive in the NBA like that. Okay, Daytona 500, we'll talk about that. Good race, crashing at the end, but a pretty exciting finish. And then NBA All-Star game last night, of which I watched hardly any. I only watched it because I ran out of things to watch. Maybe they should consider the fact that if they got back to playing serious basketball, I'm talking about real basketball, they might have a good event instead of everything else you're trying to do. Okay, your phone calls are coming up.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
Relax. Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and your budget. Featuring no payments for up to 90 days. Simply apply early for a pre-approved spending limit before you even start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that is competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
George Bryant for Tsunami Bar Sports, our inventor, David Abernathy, has always said Tsunami Bar technology allows us to take the training to the grass. Now I know through my sport of golf that natural agility can be converted to athletic ability. And why is this, Tsunami Robbie?
Transferring the training to the grass. This may be the most undervalued characteristic of the Tsunami flexible bar technology. The Tsunami bar action loads and unloads at the concentric and eccentric transition points. This is what we call reversal forces, and the Tsunami bar is the only bar and training device that I know of that can train these reversal forces adequately at speed.
Hey, this is Phil Kornblut. The Tsunami Bar is a terrific training device, whether you're working on your fitness or your golf game. It's convenient, it's easy to use, and you won't feel beat up afterwards. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today.
All right. You've listened to the rest all day long, those who were working. And now you're stuck with the best. Sports Talk across the state of South Carolina on the Sports Talk Media Network, Phil Kornblut, the plumber, Josh Cohen, and Bergie, Chris Bergen. One more thing, and we'll get the phone calls. And we'll get the phone calls right away. But the story that came out from Ross Dellinger last night and picked up today about expanding the CFP and everything, it's really, really detailed what they're looking at. In fact, Shane Beamer and Jeremiah Donanti are in New Orleans for some SEC meetings beginning today. So you can imagine that's coming up. But the expansion and the idea of play-in games, the idea of 9 SEC games, going to 16 teams, and, we can sit here and we can complain about it and cry about it and everything else in the world, but it's going to happen, and it's just a matter of how much it's going to affect things. Will it be good or will it be bad? I don't know. If you think what we had this past year was good, then you think what they'll be doing in the future will be better. If you think what they did this past year was bad, then what they're going to be doing in the future will be worse. What they're trying to do, of course, with Greg Sankey and his counterpart from the Big Ten is just dominate the world of college football and guarantee that they get between them 8 of the 16 teams in the field with 4 guaranteed spots, 4 automatic spots each from the SEC and the Big Ten, with the ACC and the Big 12, the little sisters of the poor, getting 2 automatic spots each, and on from there in the format. I'll just say this. I want to get the phone calls, Chris, but I'll get your take on it coming up. I just want to say this. The South Carolina legislature had better pass a law that South Carolina and Clemson have got to play in football. Now, I'm afraid the end of the year date may have to go away.
I would agree.
Because of the way things are going to be worked out. I just fear that. I fear they're going to have to play in September. And that's going to be awful. That is just going to be awful, I think. But they need to pass a law that says they have to play. Because if they go to 9 SEC games, and then you're talking about a deal with the Big Ten where they play games against one another, and, are they going to stick with 12, cut it back to 11 because they're going to have these play-in weekends?
They have to go back to 11, Phil.
I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm telling you, they're going to mess with these rivalry games that are not inside a league. We've seen it. We've seen it in high school football. We've seen it in other leagues. So, come on, legislature. Somebody in the legislature stand up and do something. This would be a law that is actually a good thing for the state, unlike so many other laws. This would be a good thing to guarantee South Carolina and Clemson must play every year in every sport, not just in football. They need to pass a law because they're state-supported schools. You can pass a law and make them do something, can't you? You do run the two. You do own the 2 schools. You are the government. You are the assembly.
True.
You do own the 2 schools. Very quickly, I want to get to the phones to get them rolling. I apologize for running late. We go to Keith in Camden. First up tonight. Keith, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. Good to have you with us.
Good. Yeah, good to be with you. Just so many options, but real quick. The thought of us not playing Clemson or Clemson not playing South Carolina is sad. But we know everything that controls everything is money, and that's unfortunate. But my call is about women's basketball team getting blown out. What you're seeing is there's a lot more talent coming out of high school, and it's getting dispersed. But at the end of the day, we don't have anybody in the low post that's physical, and that's been the problem all year, and it'll continue to be the problem as we move forward.
Good point. We'll talk about that after the break. Appreciate your phone call. Be right back in just a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with a low temperature dipping down to 31. Tomorrow, increasing clouds. As the day moves along, look for a high temperature top it out at 58. Wednesday is just ugly. We'll have widespread rain. It'll be cold. The chance of rain turning into a wintry mix. Look for a high of 41 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting a badly injured child is among 19 people who were injured when a Delta Airlines plane flipped upon arrival at Toronto's Pearson Airport. The airport confirmed on X that an incident occurred Monday with the Delta flight from Minneapolis and that all 80 passengers and crew are accounted for. Video from the scene shows the Mitsubishi CRJ 900LR upside down on the snowy tarmac as emergency workers hose it down. European leaders have insisted their governments must have a say in talks between the U.S. and Russia to end the war in Ukraine, as both Moscow and Washington said there was no role for Europe in the negotiations that could shape the future of the continent. The leaders held emergency talks in Paris. No market activity because of the President's Day holiday. More details at srnnews.com.
I sure like to brag about good local businesses. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is a great local biz. Josh and his team stress customer service as their top priority. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning came out to my house. I had a toilet that wasn't working right, a garbage disposal that died. They came out right on time, told me everything they were going to do, and explained the price of each repair before even bringing in the tools. I knew exactly what I was getting and exactly what it would cost. Their prices are fair. Their team is courteous and professional. Plus, they did a great job fixing what needed fixing in my home. I am very careful about making any recommendations, and I'm thrilled and confident to suggest you call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning for any plumbing needs. If it's a repair or to replace something, if it's that tankless water heater that you've always wanted to give you that endless hot water and save you some money, they unclog drain and sewer lines and so much more. Online, you'll find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com or just give Josh and those great folks a phone call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222, and tell them you heard about them from here at The Point.
Relax. Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our low fixed rate can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and your budget, featuring no payments for up to 90 days. Simply apply early for a pre-approved spending limit before you even start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that is competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine a cooler home this summer and a warmer one during winter without the sky-high power costs. Redbird Windows and Doors offers you the solution with our state-of-the-art energy-efficient windows and doors. Locally operated, we promise a hassle-free experience with our expert team handling everything from consultation to installation and doing so flawlessly. Upgrade your home's comfort and cut down those energy bills. Visit redbirdwindows.com or call us 727-0561 today. Redbird Windows and Doors. Local experience matters.
Groucho's Deli is the Midland's most loved, historic, and awarded deli and has been for decades, serving trademark subs like the STP Dipper with melty Swiss over roast beef, turkey, and bacon bits on a soft sub roll and served with Groucho's famous 45 sauce. Come into any of our 8 Midlands locations and see for yourself or pick up with fast, convenient, and friendly service at Grouchos.com or on the Groucho's app and sign up for the Groucho's Rewards and Birthday Brownie Club.
At 6, don't miss the vibe. South Carolina's pride, we're live. Sports Talk's the place to be. from the court to the field, we're breaking news free. Join the team, follow X for more. We're taking over, that's for sure. Corn's insight, Bergen's wit, Cohen's energy. They're the perfect fit. 2 hours of sports talk bliss. Don't miss a minute of this. Sports Talk, the place to be. From the court to the field, we're breaking news free. Join the team, follow X for more. We're taking over, that's for sure. From touchdowns to three-point shots.
All right, we're back. It's Sports Talk Media Network. Here on this Monday night, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Back to your phone calls in a moment. Coastal Carolina has finished off Kansas State 9-2. Final score there. Chanticleers win again. 9-14-1 for Coastal. 2-6-1 for Kansas State. So they are off to an excellent start in their first full year under their new coach.
They've got a great schedule in front of them, too. They play the College tomorrow afternoon, and then they head down to Jacksonville, and they're participating in a tournament down there, sort of similar to what Clemson just got done with out in Arlington, as they'll get, Alabama, Ohio State, and NC State over the weekend.
Caden Bodine, 3 for 5 today. He's hitting a cool .381 to open up the season. All right, a couple of other things, and back to your phone calls, 888-898-2525. I know it's going to get a little chilly over the next couple of days, but that's okay. It's going to get warm. In fact, I'm headed to the beach. Friday we'll be at the beach broadcasting from South Carolina Football Coaches Association annual clinic. A lot of coaches, college coaches, high school coaches, and, of course, we'll be there with Sports Talk. Look forward to bringing that to you. And you can make your plans to get to the beach as well and find a great place to stay and let Jimmy Smith help you make that happen. James Smith Real Estate, 843-237-4246, 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Jimmy DeMann, and he will find you the place for your perfect beach getaway. 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Clemson and Presbyterian baseball scheduled for Wednesday. They have postponed that game because they're expecting the weather to be lousy. They've rescheduled it for 4 o'clock on March the 5th. South Carolina's announced their pitching plans for their 2 midweek games, assuming they get played. Tuesday at Winthrop, it'll be Jarvis Evans against right-hander Lance Wade. Wednesday in Columbia against Queens, it'll be Jackson Susie, a left-hander, against left-hander Joey Ruller. All right, back to the phones. Chapel Fowler from the State reported that Trent Howard is no longer playing football at Clemson. Veteran offensive lineman, beset with injuries over his career, was eligible to come back for another year, but he is not on the spring roster. And, in fact, he's gone on and gone to work and found a job and is moving on. So he will not be with the Clemson football team moving forward. And we move forward to your phone calls. Appreciate the patience. Phone number 888-898-2525. It is Tiger Bryan time. Tiger Bryan time. TBT. Up in Lancaster. Yeah, we got a name for your segment now. Tiger Bryan time.
I'm about to go ahead and patent that. But no, all serious. I have a bad weekend. You know, the guy that does the role, Marty Plyler, Mickey Plyler.
Mickey Plyler, yeah.
Mickey Plyler. His uncle is my best friend, Mark Baker in Lancaster.
Yeah.
His sister, his wife, his mama died. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
And Gamecock Bill. He was on here with me one time. He got infection in his tooth, and he's in ICU. I mean, it's been a bad weekend for me.
Oh, my.
Two of my best friends lost their sister, and my brother from a different mother. It's he survived because I've been praying, but yeah, but yeah.
Well,
but what about my
pull him through,
what
TB?
about my
Pull him through.
Hey, I want all the Gamecock people and Clemson people, Belfort County and Mark Baker people. But anyway, what about my basketball team is smoking some people's mud, ain't they?
I'm sorry. Say again. Say that again about the basketball.
Clemson basketball.
Yeah.
We've been smoking.
Yeah, need to talk about Clemson basketball. Another big win for them, and they moved up in the AP poll to number 18, I think it was this week. So
it's about time we got some recognition. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What about girls? What about girls? The Gamecock girls. They
yeah, they got beat up pretty good.
I love it.
They got beat up pretty good.
Well, you don't want. Come on, I'm not saying nothing about me. They've been beating people forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about time somebody. You know what I mean? I mean, sooner or later, yeah.
Well, look, I mean, nobody in Columbia is happy, but around the country, those who follow college basketball, they always They loved it when Connecticut finally started losing. Before that, they loved it when Tennessee finally started losing.
Yep.
And, just like in football fans, they're happy that Alabama is finally come down a notch or two. Clemson's been down a notch or two.
Started beating them.
yeah, but now Clemson's come back to earth.
You know what? Hey, it's all that LLL money, that Porter John, you call it.
Yep.
I love y'all guys, and I pray for my boys.
You got it, man. Wish you the best. Wish them all the best.
All right, love you, man.
Thank you, TB. That's TBT, forever known as TBT. Tiger Bryan time here on Sports Talk. You good with that, Plumber? You good with that?
That works with me.
Good.
I don't like the name Plumber, though.
I like it. The Plumber. It's the Plumber.
It doesn't matter anymore, Josh.
It's the Plumber.
It's out of my hands.
It's the Plumber. Well, it fits. I mean, it just fits. 888-898-2525. Are we still in line with the next? Is that right? Okay, we go down to the city of Charleston. Sorry about this because we had a good show going. I'm afraid this will interrupt a very good show. We go down to the city of Charleston. We welcome in, once again, to Sports Talk, the bad boy by the bay, the ninja of the night, the pontiff of the port city, the queen of the cowboy crybabies, and the man who once a month he swims out to Fort Sumter. It's amazing to watch him swim. Swims out to Fort Sumter, and he collects all the unexploded cannonballs that were left behind from the big war. He takes them back to the Citadel. He cleans them, he shines them, he repowders them, and he gives it to the cadets for future use against infringement from the North. He's a hero. He is a state hero. He should be honored, and he should be declared a state treasure, a state treasure, not the state treasurer because he would steal all the money. A state treasure. He's not Jim Rome. He is J. Rome.
Yes, I just.
That was a mouthful. that was a mouthful.
Yeah, Phil, I just want to say good evening to you and
good
the
evening.
heir to the throne, Chris Bergenin.
Are you still calling? Are you still calling into that? What's the name of that show? Rich Valdez with an S. You still call into the Rich Valdez show?
Or as I call him, El Magnifico.
I mean, you're a national star.
I'm a national treasure, Phil. Just admit it. Anyway, you know, you at the beach. I've had a couple of bouts with cataract surgery, Phil. And you at the beach in a bikini. Is that something I'm going to have to watch, Phil? Can I unsee that?
Not a bikini. It's not a bikini. It's Speedo. I go strictly in Speedos. In fact, I go in the European version of the Speedo.
Oh, my God! Speedo? How do you get that thing on? Were you like a shoehorn or something? You got a shoe on, Phil?
I get the kind. I get the kind that's got the little stretch waistband. It's got that little stretch waistband to it.
Wow, that's too much
I hope you know that I'm
there.
losing weight at an alarming rate right now, Jerome, okay?
It must be your wallet because it's not your body.
No.
Hey, I got a question for Chris Burgundy to add to the throne.
Go ahead.
To the Sports Talk throne. Hey, and Chris, I got to be careful how I say it because this person might be listening. Look, he walks around with three wallets. He probably drives a car that's worth about six figures. He lives in a mansion, okay? And he's been doing Sports Talk since BC or AD. And yet he's on the phone and radio panhandling for money for his alma mater. How about you write a check? Sound familiar, Chris? Sound familiar, Chris?
I can't get
Can
past
you think anyone?
Jerome, I can't get past he's been on the radio since either BC or AD. I thought that was
Are
classic.
you talking about the Big Kahuna? You talking about the Big Kahuna?
Absolutely not. The word is to thine own self be true, Mr. Speedo. Okay? You know who I'm talking about. And by the way, yesterday, boy, was that a clinic. You know, UConn is a very pride-filled program, and REM is too. So, but I'm telling you, I bet they haven't played that good a game in like about 5 or 6 years. I bet you about $20 on that because they were like a machine yesterday.
Well, when
It
you
was
think about
scary.
it, seriously, who had the overall better players? Look at the UConn roster right now. You got Sarah Strong added to that group. You got Paige Beckers, and you got who's the other girl?
Daisy Fudd.
Yeah,
she was
Fudd,
by far the best player yesterday on either side.
They got 3 studs, and South Carolina. Without they got full Wiley, but how much star power does South Carolina's team have right now? Full Wiley, Watkins is out. Full Wiley, Joyce Edwards is
Joyce
obviously
Edwards.
a great one. Going to be a great one. They don't have the star power. I guess throughout their lineup right now compared to some of their previous teams, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was bound to happen at some point in time. You're going to run a little bit dry, and you just got to go back and refuel. I
Calibrate.
guess. Yeah, I was going to say you got to refill. You got to refill the coffers. And she's going to have to hit.
You do every day.
What's that?
Recalibrate.
Recalibrate. What? The waistline? No.
Yeah, that's it. The waistline.
Yeah.
Hey.
I had the proper number of calories today, thank you.
Oh, I'll bet you did. Was it like 4,000 or 5,000? How many is it?
That's something I don't reveal.
Oh, of course
That's
not.
private. That's
Of
private.
course
What
not.
else you got, Jerome?
No.
What else you got? Come on.
Hey, but no, I just wondering.
Did you watch the All-Star game last night? Were you caught up in the
No, don't bother me.
Did you watch the 500?
No, don't bother me. Is it still on? It was on all day. Jesus Christ. Man, that's one thing about NASCAR, boy. They got no time restrictions on them, huh?
That's true.
Man.
Did Fox stay on the whole time on TV?
Hey, look.
Even
NASCAR
the Motor Racing Network cut away finally after 2.5 hours or whatever.
Fox ran replay of last year's Daytona 500.
There you go.
At least when I flipped over there, they had that going on.
Yeah.
NASCAR was on so long I had another birthday, okay?
Oh.
Thank you.
That'd be like
All right,
78,
that's all I got to say.
79. All right, Jerome, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The one and only Jay Rome here on Sports Talk. We'll continue with your phone calls in a moment. Those of you on the line, hang on. We'll continue with calls after the top of the hour. We don't go away with phone calls after the top of the hour. I think some of you think we do, but we don't. We continue with calls after the top of the hour. We will have a great session with the one and only Jim Toman. You want to catch this one. You want to catch it every Monday night. But in particular, this one should be a lot of fun since he was over at USC this weekend for the Ray Tanner weekend. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Relax. Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and your budget. Featuring no payments for up to 90 days. Simply apply early for a pre-approved spending limit before you even start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that is competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
All right, back we are, Sports Talk Media Network, Monday night edition. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, the plumber, Josh Cohen, 888-898-2525. We go to Stephen in Lexington, next up on Sports Talk. Stephen, welcome in. How are you? Good to have you with us.
Hey, Phil. Yeah, it's hard to follow TBT and J. Rome.
That's tough.
Tell you what.
Tough act to follow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm with TBT and the Clemson basketball. They're doing something special this year, so hopefully they can keep it rolling. I don't know if you mentioned the USA hockey team.
I did not. Now, they did this to replace the NHL All-Star Weekend, right? They put this thing together. Am I
have
right?
No idea. I'm just mad at Canada. That's the only reason I lost.
Well, they're going to be the 51st state here before too long, so
hopefully.
But I think that
TBT,
that weekend that Finland, Norway, what they call it, the four something. Four countries or something. Yeah, they put Finland and Sweden and South Carolina and Canada and United States paired up against. Apparently, it went for hockey people. They loved it, from what I understand.
Yeah, they had 3 fights before the first 9 seconds of the Anyways, TBT, I love that guy, man. We need to figure out something we've got artificial intelligence. I don't know if there's subtitles for radio, but maybe like an AI that could translate some of that.
That's a good idea. I sometimes have a hard time picking up what he's saying, but that's a good idea. AI.
It's full of great information.
Yeah. Artificial intelligence to translate what a caller is saying and play it back over the air. Can we do that? Can we make that happen?
Right.
Can that be done? I'm
sure they can do that.
Let me ask the plumber.
I'm sure they could do it, but it'd be delayed. Now, a cool thing, you know the text on the FM that they can transmit?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, that'd be cool if they could do that.
But you know what? Can't we do that on our streams? Can't we have the transliteration of the audio on our YouTube and
Closed
on our
captioning?
Not live.
Closed captioning, thank you.
Yeah, you can do that. It's already there.
Well, there you go.
There's already closed captions on live.
So you can do closed captioning on, because I don't know what it would look like in closed captioning. I'm not sure how the computers would translate some of that stuff. So that's a great idea. We need to talk a minute more about Clemson basketball, though, before we let it slide, because I didn't mention it up front because we had all this other stuff going on, but a very impressive road win for them. And they win big on a day when Chase Hunter does not have an offensive day whatsoever, and they still take care of their business. So I like this team's just gotten better and better, and Brad Brownell is doing a heck of a job running this team, and they're just fitting right now. They're just fitting together with very nice pieces. All right, thank you very much. This Clemson basketball team, Chris, I think has got a chance to make a deep run in the ACC tournament. If they finish up strongly, they'll only have to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They'll start out in the quarterfinals, so they'll get the double bye, and they're capable of beating, as we know, anybody else in that league. So this could be one thing they've never won is the ACC tournament championship. They've played for it, but they've never won it. So maybe this is the year.
Well, they've proven, as you pointed out, they can beat anybody in that league, and they're balanced. And even when Chase Hunter comes out and scores 3 points, they win by 30.
Yeah,
I mean that's it. Now part of that is Florida State is just, I don't know how in the world Florida State won 15 games thus far this year. I think they've packed it in along with their head coach. But the fact that they got Dylan Hunter with 17, they got double doubles from Ian Shefflin and almost from Chauncey Wiggins. I mean their depth off the bench and how they play. They are so deliberate with what they do. They rarely, if you watch them play, Phil, the one thing I'm most impressed with is they rarely take a bad shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had 18 assists on Saturday. They do a terrific job of moving the basketball, getting exactly what they want on offense. If it takes them 10 seconds, if it takes them 25 seconds, they don't get in a rush. They never get in a hurry. And you're right. I think Brad Brownell should be ACC Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
really. It's going to be hard to probably pull it from Pat Kelsey at Louisville and the job he's done.
Yeah.
But the second best job, I think, has been done by Brad Brownell at Clemson, because these guys coming off last year, what they lost, I mean, it doesn't look like they've missed a beat. And they are as talented as, I think, the team that went to the Elite Eight last year.
Yep. All right, let's hit another phone call before we go to the top of the hour break. We'll have recruiting coming up for you as well, and a bunch of good stuff in our second hour, including Coach Jim Toman. So, Mr. Plummer, you need to tell me where we're going next because my computer has.
Yeah, we're going to Andy in Columbia.
Andy in Columbia. All right, Andy. Saw where one of your pitchers is already broken down in spring training. Good to see. Welcome in.
Isn't it great? You come into spring training, you have a lat strain already out for 6 to 8 weeks.
$4 million. Poof.
Only the Mets. Only the Mets.
Yep.
But it's a good thing we have a lot of pitching depth. That's what they say. That's why we didn't spend money on a big pitcher, so we could have depth going in. We probably have more depth.
Well, you just spent $760 million on an outfielder.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Just like you're talking about my man. How about your man? Stanton hadn't swung the bat in 3 to 4 weeks.
I know. How do you have tendonitis in both elbows? I mean, how does that happen?
And he's played through that, evidently, too.
Well, he's not playing right now. They're saying he won't be ready for opening day. He's never healthy.
I mean, that's just about as bad as corn in a Speedo. You know,
I think corn in a Speedo is a beautiful.
Nothing is that bad.
Is a beautiful image. I'll be happy to direct message you. Are you on? Are you on X? Andy on X?
No, I do not do social media.
Well, I'll have to.
Anti-social media.
I'll mail it to you then. I'll drop it in the mail.
No, don't do us any favors, Corn. Okay, please.
All right. Thank you very much. Do something with the dog, will you? Of course, I'd rather talk to the dog than talk to Andy.
Hey,
Poochie. Hey, Poochie. Poochie. All right, we'll be back top of the hour. More calls, recruiting, other things. Don't go away.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. There are new developments from south of the border in the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America dispute.
Mexico says it's waiting for a new response from Google to its request that the tech company fully restore the name Gulf of Mexico to its Google Maps before filing a lawsuit.
Y que por eso en Estados Unidos el nombre del Golfo de México se ve Golfo de América.
During a news conference Monday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum shared a letter from Google saying the tech company will not change the name after President Trump declared the body of water the Gulf of America. Sheinbaum says the mapping policy violates Mexican sovereignty because the U.S. only has jurisdiction over around 46% of the Gulf, the rest controlled by Mexico and Cuba. I'm Julie Walker.
A federal judge will rule quickly on efforts to block Elon Musk's office from accessing sensitive data. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
14 states are seeking a temporary restraining order to limit Musk's power in President Trump's quest to downsize the federal government. In a court hearing on Monday, U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan questioned the authority of Musk and his Government Efficiency Office, but was skeptical of a request to block DOJ from accessing sensitive data and firing employees at half a dozen federal agencies. Chutkan said she would rule within 24 hours. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A badly injured child is among 19 people who were injured when a Delta Airlines plane flipped upon arrival at Toronto's Pearson Airport. The airport confirmed on X that an incident occurred Monday with the Delta flight from Minneapolis and that all 80 passengers and crew are accounted for. Video from the scene shows the jet upside down on the snowy tarmac as emergency workers hose it down. More at townhall.com.
Here we talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile have convinced you need unlimited data. Fact is, most people don't. Pure Talk only charges $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data plus hotspot. Stop overpaying for wireless. Dial pound 250 and say spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month with Pure Talk 5.
A food program for soldiers is under scrutiny.
A new report finds that out of $225 million collected by the United States Army for a food program for soldiers last year, only $74 million actually went towards food. The money is taken from their BAS payments. It's used to cover residence and food costs. The Military.com report found that Fort Stewart, Georgia, obtained $17 million from soldiers, but only spent $2.1 million on food, meaning 87% of food funds were redirected to other projects. The investigation comes amid reported food shortages at Fort Carson, Colorado, where some soldiers say that one dinner consisted of lima beans and toast. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis named his former Chief of Staff James Uthmeyer as the state's Attorney General today. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with a low temperature dipping down to 31. Tomorrow, increasing clouds. As the day moves along, look for a high temperature topping out at 58. Wednesday is just ugly. We'll have widespread rain. It'll be cold. The chance of rain turning into a wintry mix. Look for a high of 41 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. The Point. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay. We're back at Sports Talk Media Network. Hope you're feeling great. I think I'm back to my old self now. It took, 2 weeks. 2 weeks is what? That's 14 days from Saturday, 15, Sunday. So about 17 days. I think I'm fine. Have you heard me cough yet tonight?
No, your voice sounds a lot better.
Sounds a lot better. About 17 days, counting today. So really about 16 days. So if you get it, good luck.
Well, freezing rain is coming on Wednesday, so that'll get us all sick once again after the 60s tail end of the week.
I don't care what the weather is Saturday. I'm playing golf. I don't care if it's 25 degrees and there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. I'm teeing it up.
Oh, please let me watch you play golf in the snow.
In my Speedo. Taking the
At
Speedo.
least use a colored golf ball. I know how much of a traditionalist you are. So
See,
you got a
that's
white
the thing.
Titleist you try to play in the snow.
It's a good point. If you're playing the snow, you should probably use a colored golf ball.
Yeah, get you a neon green or an orange one. Yeah.
Good idea. Recruiting is coming up. Jim Toman is coming up. Got a little Dawn Staley for you as well. Maybe a little Brad Brownell will sneak in as well. 888-898-2525. Got a lot of messages coming in on the streams. Let's take a look at some of those. Eddie says, well, the girls missing, the big girls inside, out rebounding in all 3 losses. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Russell, Jim could have helped Coach Tanner out with efforts behind the plate. Oh, yeah. Wasn't the best pitch, but he's got to pick.
Yeah, I heard
got to
Tomlin
pick
loused
Coach
that up
up
big
there.
time.
Yeah, well, he won't admit it, but I've got something to say about that when he joins us. Eddie, 2 games where we couldn't cover or stop the opponent's big girl inside. And what else here? Let's see. Eddie, now on the men, Eddie says everyone wanted Frank gone, and here we are. Adam says Pringle and Butler, talking about, I guess, transfers. Yeah, Butler, he hit 2 free throws Saturday night in Florida, and they were both nothing but net. I'm telling you, the guy can shoot.
Well, it wasn't the offense that was the issue, Phil. You can't allow a team to shoot 100% from the field in the second half.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You're not beating anybody.
100%.
I mean, they were right there at halftime, and then they said, well, we're not playing defense the entire second half. What Florida shot, and I was joking a little bit, but not far. But they shot 70% from the field in the second half?
Crazy.
I mean, it's insane.
Crazy. Adam, I think Collins needs another year. Don't disagree. Meg says, J-Rome. That's all she says. I think J-Rome might have a girlfriend following him. Hey, J-Rome.
He's a national superstar.
If you're
I've heard him
listening,
on national
J-Rome.
sports shows, too.
Apparently there's a female hot on your trail.
Ooh.
Via Sports Talk. Maybe we can make love happen. Can we make love happen on Sports Talk? That'd be kind of neat. Our text message line, I haven't mentioned that, 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. Couple of notes in there. And this says, Carolina women get off of TikTok and learn how to shoot. Thanks, Dave. Okay, Dave. So he says the women need to get off of TikTok and learn how to shoot. Yeah, well, losing will get you off of TikTok.
Well, and much like the men, their offense was not very good, but that wasn't a problem. They couldn't stop Connecticut.
No.
They need to get off TikTok and learn how to run the floor in transition defense. That might be the bigger aspect.
Mike says at least refer to Josh as the master plumber.
Ooh.
Nah, I don't know that he's reached master status. I mean, that takes a few years. I still think he's in the
apprentice stage.
Yeah. You know, replacing toilets, fixing leaky faucets. That's kind of where he is with things. So, all right, thank you for those notes. Let's go back to the phone very quickly, down to Charleston once again. Sam in Charleston. Sam, welcome in. How are you? Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, my weekend's a little short, but it's okay. But I hope you guys are doing well.
Yep.
Hey, I heard someone talking about the Clemson football thing. Might touch on that real quick.
You may.
So, one of your callers talked about how good Brett Barnell is. I gave him a 10 for that one because I was watching Clemson versus Louisville game. Is that right? Who did he play?
Clemson played Florida State.
Well, I got to tell you, but I'm going to say this again, but I'm a huge Tiger fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Brad Barnell is a great coach and all that. He should be in the Hall of Fame class, and I can see that. But second of all, I want to touch on the College of Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very depressed about having the block party this year. Do you think it's so? I was very depressed with the block party this year. We might have it, and it didn't happen this year. But here's my question to ask you: if you think about it, I want you and Conan to talk about this very clearly. Do you think the College of Charleston might have the block party for the first time next year? Because we should be recognized for our team. It's really hard.
Sam, you are the number one. You're number one. Sam, you know you're number one. You're the number one. You are the number one party sports fan in South Carolina.
Well,
all you think about is partying. How many parties do you go to on a typical week?
Mostly on the weekends.
Mostly you party on the weekends.
Well, actually, I don't get in trouble, but I just do not get in trouble at work.
Do you party? Do you party at your expensive condo overlooking the Wando River, or do you party somewhere else?
Well, actually, I'm gonna party for my new apartment next year.
Well, I tell you what, the master plumber, has connections in Charleston. He wants to come to your party. Josh wants to come to your party.
Well, how about this? Do you think that the college will bring back the block party next year? Do you guys talk about that now?
Well,
that'd be nice.
We're going to kick that around. And thank you, Sam. We appreciate the phone call. Chris, what do you think on that? Do you think the College of Charleston will bring back the block party next year?
I didn't know it had gone away.
Yeah.
So that's disappointing news. And is that something that Chris Mack has to influence? Was that a situation where Chris Mack said, we're not partying before the season, we'll party afterwards? Maybe if they make the NCAA tournament, they'll bring back the block party.
Well, they've won 20 games again, but,
they're
going to have to do something.
CAA.
They're going to have to do some work in their tournament to get into the big dance. Thank you, Sam. Trevor Lawrence says he's not going to Pittsburgh.
And I don't get that.
I mean, I guess he has the ability to block a trade, maybe?
He does. He has a no-trade clause in his contract, and he says he's happy in Jacksonville and actually believes they're going to win a Super Bowl. They're never winning a Super Bowl in Jacksonville, Trevor. I hate to tell you that, whether you're there or not.
Never?
Never.
Never's a big word, dude.
Well, not while he's there and in his career. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. Pittsburgh, I think, would be a really good landing spot for him. Why wouldn't you want to go play in Pittsburgh?
I mean, agreed. But maybe he's a Southern guy. Maybe he likes the weather in Jacksonville more than Pittsburgh and all of that.
Well, obviously, the weather's better down in Jacksonville. I'm talking about from a team perspective.
Yeah. The rosters for the Carolinas All-Star Classic released today. South Carolina boys are as follows. Brian Sumter from Keenan. Amir Anderson, could be Amari, from Greer. Deron Dunbar. And L.J. Britt, Gray Collegiate. Abijah Franklin, Wren. Jordan Watford, T.J. Lewis, Blythewood. Evan Enos from Burns, Tristan Thompson from Wilson, and Melvin Teal from Somerville. The girls' team, Shania Isaac, Lower Richland, Faith Farmer, North Myrtle Beach, Michelle Farewell, Dutch Fork, Aubrey Stevenson, Rock Hill, Skyla Tuthill, Ashley Ridge, Nasia Harvey, Ridgeview, Molly Daughtry, Somerville, Cadence Walker Lee, Gray Collegiate, Tamaya Watkins, Andrew Jackson, and Emma Daughtry from Somerville. I wonder if Molly and Emma are sisters. It's entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
That is those are the rosters, South Carolina rosters for the Carolina Classic, March 22nd at Hoggard High School in Wilmington. But if you've been with us on Thursday nights with Coach Combs, he's told us that possibility that game could be moving back to South Carolina here in the not-too-distant future. Here are a few minutes post-game with Dawn Staley from yesterday after the USC women were beaten by Connecticut in Columbia. Packed house, great atmosphere. Her team just did not show up and play good basketball. We begin with a question.
Dawn, defensively, where did you see the biggest breakdown? It seemed like they were getting those dribble drives early and then kicking back out for really open threes. Was there one glaring issue why you weren't matching up well?
Yeah, transition, imbalance, bad shots will produce points for a UConn team. They just don't allow you to get back in it to set your defense up. By the time you think about it, the three is going up and through the net.
A loss like that's kind of uncharted territory for you, for these players. What do the next 2 days look like? Is it just getting back to practice? Do you feel like you have to kind of tweak things, reinvent the wheel? Just where do you go from here?
I mean, you just get back to your habits. We're not going to change, kind of like wholesale change what we're doing. I mean, a loss like this is about toughness. A loss like this isn't about anything besides getting our players to just keeping the main thing. Obviously, when you lose like this, there's something else that's going on that isn't just about basketball. So we got to figure that out and get back on it. Get back on it.
Coach, two questions. One, defensively, did you feel like the rotations were there, getting where they need to be? Sometimes it felt like they were, sometimes it felt like they were slow, or sometimes over-rotating. And then secondly, you guys gave up 15 offensive rebounds, and that's kind of uncharacteristic.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They got 13 threes. You hit 13 threes. It's damaging to your defense from a physical and psychological standpoint. She hits 3 threes, I'm going to stick a little bit closer. Then the driving lanes open up because you're sticking a little bit closer and you're not in your gap. You're not in your gap help. They made you think about all of those things, and they had their way with us. It's just there's no trying to find a silver lining to it. We got beat bad. And then what's your second question?
The offensive rebounds, they out 15-9. I think they were in offensive.
Yeah, that's normal. I mean, it's hard when they shot as well as they shot, right, and still get offensive rebounds. We just major implosion for us. So you can pull out a lot of different stats, and they're all going to end the same way, which is we did not perform well in any area that was great. At the end of the game, we're just trying to figure out, if we see this team again, what can we do in certain situations? Certainly not from a defensive standpoint, more so from an offensive standpoint.
I guess overall, how would you just kind of assess the effort from your team? And Pau is in here talking about the lack of ball movement on offense and kind of no one really looking to shoot. I guess, would you agree with that in terms of effort as well?
Since we're on a higher education campus, F. You know, I mean, it's, you know, this season's a long season, right? You play a team like UConn, like now, you win. It may have some ill effect to the next game. You lose, and it definitely will wake you up. So hopefully it will be the latter, and we can get back going against Arkansas on Thursday.
Kind of off that point, Coach, what's the balance of challenging your group to learn from a game like this, but also not letting a loss like this define you for the rest of the season?
That's the balance. You mean? I mean, they know. They're feeling as lowly as I am, as lowly as our coaching staff. They know. I mean, we're not gonna. We let them talk about what took place, and they said all the right things, and wasn't sugarcoating. I mean, we definitely have to get better, and we will.
Powell was in here and straight up said, "Hey, we were punked. This was an embarrassing loss." In the past, if you perceive that a team has been punked or out-physicaled, what do you do to fix that? Is it some drills in practice, or is it just a rah-rah speech to them? What do you do going forward?
Well, one, you have to look at who we are, who we've been. 25 games in. Who are we? You covered us. Who are we? And you get back to that. You get back to showing them who we are. You get back to practicing who we are. You get back to just the habits that what made us really a really good basketball team. I think we're a little fatigued mentally and physically. Just a gauntlet of a season. But there comes a time when you can regroup and get it back. Now will be the perfect time to do that, with 4 games left in the regular season and then going into our SEC tournament.
All right, there you go, Donna Staley. Hey, admire the straight-on approach.
They got punked.
I admire the straight-on approach, though. Mm-hmm. She didn't hide from it. She didn't run from it. Didn't make any excuses. F.
I thought she graded them on a curve. I would have given them an F-.
F-
after that performance. Yeah.
That's like being a 5-star plus.
Yeah, exactly.
How can you be more than a 5-star? You can be a plus. How can you stink worse than an F? Be an F-.
F-.
Recruiting coming up in a moment.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30-plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, time for the recruiting report on this Monday night, brought to you by Seawells, very best in the catering business. Check out their website. It's brand new. We're just looking at it. Beautiful.
And there's something on here I did not know about Seawells.
What's that?
There's a segment in there about, and it's our story. It said, we have catered to 7 presidents of the United States and also hosted in their facility the Republican presidential debate.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which was live on CNN. I did not realize that.
That is true. That is absolutely true. They've been doing it for 80 years. So,
right.
You don't stay in business. First call for the night. You don't stay in the catering business, in the food business, for 80 years unless you are delivering a great product, and they deliver a great product. And you can find out for yourself. Just give Cal and the guys a call, 803-771-7385, and you can see their new website at SeawellsCateringSC.com. And don't forget, back at the Daily Luncheon Buffet tomorrow and the rest of the week from 11 until 2. All right, a lot of notes in the recruiting world. Safety, Caden Gebhardt, Lewis Center, Ohio, has sent officials to Clemson May 30th, Ohio State June 6th, Penn State June 13th. He was also at Clemson early February, plans to return for the Junior Day March 8th. Defensive end, Kamarian Johnson, 6'2", 250, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, plans to be at Clemson March 8th. He also plans spring visits with Ole Miss, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee. Defensive end Dre Quinn, Norcross, Georgia, official to Clemson May 30th, also plans to be there March 8th. Wide receiver Connor Salmon, Purcellville, Virginia, official visit with Clemson May 30th. Offensive tackle Leo Delaney of Charlotte, official to Clemson May 30th. He'll also visit March 8th. He also plans to take spring visits to NC State, Tennessee, Michigan, Tennessee, and Penn State, also looking at North Carolina and Wisconsin. Offensive tackle Ikene Oboko, Garner, North Carolina, Clemson official May 30th. Offensive guard Cannon Pickett, 6'4", 310 of Tampa, has Clemson in his top 10 with Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, Florida, Oklahoma, Auburn, Miami, Vanderbilt, and LSU. Clemson target Drew Evers, 6'4", 285, offensive lineman, Flower Mound, Texas, officials to SMU May 2nd, Texas A&M June 20th. USC target defensive tackle Brian Harris decommitted from Maryland on Sunday. He had been committed since August 2nd. Officials Stanford in May on a date to be determined. West Virginia June 6th, NC State June 13th, USC June 20th. He'll also set a date with Ole Miss. Defensive tackle Noah Clark of Durham, official to Duke on May 30th, USC June 6th, Virginia Tech June 13th, NC State June 20th, and Maryland offered him today. Cornerback Justice Fitzpatrick, Fort Lauderdale, who has an offer from USC, was offered by North Carolina Sunday. Michigan also recently offered. Tight end DJ Howerton, an offer from South Carolina, set officials with Rutgers May 30th and NC State June 20th. He's from Greensboro. South Carolina target Zion Ely, a Maryland commitment, official to Maryland June 20th. Also plans officials to USC, Auburn, Ohio State, Penn State, and Texas A&M. Got a few more notes. We'll get those in. Jim Toman coming up as well. We'll be right back after this break.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening with a low temperature dipping down to 31. Tomorrow, increasing clouds. As the day moves along, look for a high temperature topping out at 58. Wednesday is just ugly. We'll have widespread rain. It'll be cold. The chance of rain turning into a wintry mix. Look for a high of 41 degrees. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee-Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting Egypt is developing a plan to rebuild Gaza without forcing Palestinians out of the Strip in a counter to President Trump's proposal to depopulate the territory so the U.S. can take it over. Egypt's state-run Al Ahram newspaper said the proposal calls for establishing secure areas within Gaza where Palestinians can live initially while Egyptian and international construction firms remove and rehabilitate the Strip's infrastructure. Harsh cold has descended on the nation's midsection as a polar vortex grips the Rockies and northern plains. The bitter cold comes on heels of weekend storms that pummeled the eastern U.S. with floods, killing at least 13 people. The National Weather Service is warning of life-threatening cold. More details at srnnews.com.
The top international business school in the country is here in Columbia, and you can hear directly from the Darla Moore School. Join me, Casey Whitener, for more impact, phenomenal guests, and work that impacts our community and our state. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m. on 100.7 The Point.
People hear me talking about Broker Solar and how much I like Ken and his team. They ask, hey, can I really trust this guy, Kev? Let me tell you two things. Number one, Ken and Broker Solar are legit. I've known Ken's family for 20 plus years. Seriously, these are local, ethical people. They're not going anywhere and they do things the right way. Number two, Broker Solar is so different than these stereotypes we've heard about in the solar industry. There's no signs on the yard making stupid promises they can't keep. There's no door knockers trying to pressure you at your own door. Ken and Broker Solar will tell you the truth, what it'll cost, and how your solar power investment will pay off. See, we can't pick our power companies. Broker Solar gives you a chance to take some control over your power bill, and I like that, and so should you. Online, it's brokersolar.com, and seriously, reach out to Ken and these folks. It could really make a difference in your quality of life. Brokersolar.com, empowering you so you're not powerless.
Spring is just around the corner, whether the groundhog says so or not. Get ready with Palmetto State Armory, your go-to spot for all things outdoors. Reel in your best catch with top brands like Shimano, Zoom, and Spro, used by pro anglers everywhere. And for our Spring Legion members, we've got everything you need for turkey hunting. Shotguns from Benelli, Browning, and Beretta, plus premium gear from Sitka and Nomad. Visit us at one of our 9 retail locations or shop online at palmettostatearmory.com.
If you step onto H&J Cattle Company's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at hnjcannel.co or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle CO.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
All right, let's wrap up the recruiting. We have Coach Tolman coming up in just a moment. But wrap up the recruiting report tonight. South Carolina target defensive end Zion Ely, a Maryland commitment. Official visit to Maryland June 20th. Also take officials to USC, Auburn, Ohio State, Penn State, Texas A&M. Offensive lineman Trey Aiken of Clinton named the top 5. USC, Florida, Georgia Tech, NC State, and Virginia Tech. Per VT Scoop, he's got officials set with all but Florida. USC on the 20th. Georgia Tech, May 30th. NC State, June 4th. Virginia Tech, June 13th. Wide receiver Gordon Sellers of Charlotte, official to Clemson, May 30th. USC, June 6th. Georgia, 13. Michigan, the 20th. North Carolina, June 27th. Offensive tackle Carter Scruggs, Leesburg, Virginia, official to Clemson, May 30th. He also plans to be at the Clemson Junior Day, March 8th. Officials with Michigan, June 6th. Penn State, June 13th. Georgia, June 20th. Penn State running back commitment Messiah Mickens, Harrisburg, PA, said to On 3, South Carolina is one of the schools he's considering for an official since he's looking at other options after the departure of the Nittany Lion running backs coach. He has officials Notre Dame, and he has set officials with Notre Dame, which hired the Penn State running backs coach, and North Carolina. Also looking at Missouri and Tennessee. Close friends with USC receiver signee Lex Cyrus. USC commitment cornerback Peyton Dyer. Officials to Southern Cal June 6th. Georgia June 13th. USC June 20th. South Carolina target linebacker Nick Abrams offered by Michigan. Baseball. South Carolina landed 2 big junior college commitments for the 2025 class. Third baseman Dawson Harmon, 6'4", 234, the College of Central Florida. Junior college, has 7 home runs and a .391 batting average in 12 games this season. Right-handed hitter, also plays the outfield. He has committed 4 errors in 25 chances. Spent his freshman season at High Point where he hit .250, 4 homers, 15 ribbies in 40 games. And today, right-hander Andrew McLaughlin, 6'3", 225 of Florida Southwestern Junior College and Ashley Rich High School, committed to South Carolina. 4 games this season, mostly in relief. He's 3-0, 2.63 ERA, 17 strikeouts in 13 2/3 innings. That's recruiting brought to you by Seawells.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Who's got the best walk-up music in baseball? Coach Jim Tolman joining us here on Sports Talk, just a bit outside. Welcome, sir. Great to see you over the weekend. There were a lot, let me just tell you this, there were a lot. Kent Reichert had a lot of difficult scoring decisions to make on Saturday. And, you know, originally they called the first pitch a wild pitch on Coach Tanner, but he had to change it to a pass ball. I'm sorry.
Well, what happened, Phil, and I don't make excuses, I would like to apologize to all the catchers that I tried to make into good receivers. But I was just happy to be able to get down in the squatting position. After that, it went all downhill. I knew if I went to my knees on that ball, it was a little low, that I would maybe have to roll over, and that would have looked worse than letting it go. So I just kind of missed it, so I didn't look so bad. Now, I maybe I'll work on it. I got to do better. I'm not one to make excuses.
No, sir.
I will get better, Coach. That's
It looked
all
to
I have
me,
to say about that.
looking at the video, it looked to me like he threw you a split finger.
Yeah, I thought it was either a cutter or a split, and Coach Tanner was a great VP thrower in his day. I thought he'd give me one right down the middle of the handle, and plus they gave me about 5 seconds to warm up, and they kind of deked me in. I thought Robert Berry was going to catch me and the young guy. All of a sudden he throws the glove to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble now.
Well,
But
I tell
anyway,
you what now.
that was a great weekend.
That's a flashback. You mentioned Robert Berry and you behind the plate.
Yeah.
That's a flashback to 2011 Omaha. Where
he backhanded that
yeah.
ball.
Now I'm saying, what if you had
made a great play?
What if you had
and
to be
then
the guy
Berry
there to
did
catch
too?
that? What if you had to be back there to backhand that thing?
I'd have no chance. I mean, I told you I was 43 years old. That's what I'm identifying as right now. But I'm actually 63. I'm actually 63 and about 285 pounds. I had no chance catching that ball, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'd like to talk about Clemson a little bit.
Well,
start off with them. Is that okay?
If you want to, but I do want you to kind of give us some of the behind the scenes with the weekend with Ray Tanner, but it's your show, so you go ahead.
Well, we'll do that at the end because that was a great weekend, and I want to give some shout-outs to some people that put that on, but that was a tremendous function, and it was unbelievable. The whole thing was set up, and it was fun. But let's get into baseball. Clemson was 2-1. Nick Schnabel was my assistant at Liberty University, and he's really, really good. Now, Coach Leggett and Coach Bakich, they couldn't coach the first 2 games because they were suspended last year. They shouldn't have been, but they were. And Nick Schnabel, I'm going to give a shout-out to my former assistant. He went 2-0. The guy is the guru, and I think all 3 games Clemson made like 1 error. And Nick is really known for being one of the best infield instructors in the country, and they showed it this weekend.
And they pulled off they did the hidden ball trick.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that should have been an out because I think the umpire had called timeout, and it doesn't get back into play ball until the guy gets on the rubber, and he couldn't get on the rubber because he didn't have the ball. It would have been a balk. So anyway, they called it. The umpires probably messed it up, but that was fun to watch.
Yep.
But Clemson had 2 big top 25 wins, beat Oklahoma State coming back late, beat them 6-5, and then they beat Arizona pretty darn good, 16-5, I think the score. And then Ole Miss started hitting there late, and Ole Miss got them on the third game. But a good start for Clemson. They had some new guys. That transfer kid named Dominic Listi sounds like a good Italian guy to me. One of my brothers, and Indiana State transfer. He had a really, really good weekend, and then Josh Pano transferred in from Cal Baptist. He looks like he's going to be a dude too. And then the kid from P27 Academy from Florence, Jacob Jarrell, the catcher. I think them 3 guys had that. That's a good sign because they're 3 new guys now. They're older, but they did really well, and. But, to start that weekend, a very, very tough competition, 2-1. It was a pretty good week for Clemson. They actually canceled their game, I think, tomorrow or for Wednesday against PC.
Yep.
Moved it to March 5th. And then they have this weekend a kind of a tournament with VCU and North Carolina A&T. So they'll play 4 games. They'll play VCU and North Carolina A&T twice each. 4 games, good weekend for them. North Carolina A&T's pitching coach, Forrest Arnold, is from Lexington, and he was my pitching coach at Middle Tennessee State. So I'm looking for North Carolina A&T maybe for a shutout, maybe surprise someone this weekend. VCU's very good, Clemson's very good, but the dark horse this weekend is North Carolina A&T. Don't sleep on the 6'9" pitching coach, Forrest Arnold. one of our own from South Carolina. South Carolina games, I got to see the first two, and then I got on the road. And I'll talk a little bit later about how good the pitching staff did. But pretty good weekend for USC. Coach Maneri, 3-0. You can't get much better than that. They have a big game tomorrow. I think they play Winthrop. You probably already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Queens, who just started, a D1 program there in Charlotte. I think they play them Wednesday, and then they got Milwaukee coming in for this weekend. So I'm looking at 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7, 8-0 with Coach Maneri to start. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking with it. We'll talk about how they did a little bit later. Coastal Carolina had a good week, and they won again today, 9-2. So they've outscored their opponents so far in Kevin Schnall's first 4 games. The guy's making it look easy. He's the new coach at Coastal. They're outscoring people, I guess, with 9-2 today, 39-7. Pretty good start for Coach Schnall and Coastal Carolina. They had that Justin Morrison kid back on the mound today. I think he was out with an injury last year. He's like 6'7", has like 4 pitches, 90-95. Big old boy. And he threw a shutout today for like 6 innings, beating Kansas State. But the big game tomorrow is College of Charleston at Coastal. I think it's 3 o'clock start. You guys, anyone looking for a great game tomorrow, head to the beach, Conway, South Carolina. 2 really good teams that I think will be in regionals this year. Coach Holbrook is bringing his squad to Coastal tomorrow. Coastal this weekend goes down to Jacksonville, Florida, and plays Alabama, Ohio State, and NC State. So this weekend will be huge for Coastal Carolina. Moving on to College of Charleston, they're 2-1. They were 2-0 going into Sunday. I guess they had a doubleheader on Saturday. So
right.
They won the first game 10-0, 7 innings, 12-2, 7 innings in the doubleheader. And then they lost 10-9 the last game. But the guy that is their heart and soul of their team, according to Coach Holbrook, what he told me even before the season, outfielder Avery Neves, CAA Player of the Week. He went 6 for 11, 4 doubles, hit 545. So the guy that they expected to do it was the best player in that series this weekend. But the big thing tomorrow, if you guys have the ESPN Plus package, it's on TV if you can't make it to Coastal. But 3 o'clock, College of Charleston at Coastal. I may get in the car and drive down. It's only 4 hours. So maybe 5. Also, Wofford, who's a sneaky, really good program, 3-0. Ryan Wynn was the SoCon Player of the Year, hit 2 home runs, hit for the cycle. 10 RBIs first weekend for Ryan Wynn. That's like it was a career for me. The Citadel went 1-2. I think PC went 2-1 or maybe 3-0, not surprisingly. And then Charleston Southern, I think, went 2-1. But want to give a few Tobin tidbits, and then we can talk a little bit more. You can ask me some questions about that function that they had for Coach Tanner. One thing real quick, shout out to an Auburn player named Cade Bellew. Not sure you saw that, but his mother passed away Friday morning. He decided to play. His father said that his mom would want him to play. He plays in the game and hits a home run.
Saw that.
Unbelievable. I mean, there's not supposed to be any crying in baseball, but that one made the big guy tear up. Incredible. Okay? The other thing is, shout out to Coach Stuart Lake, who's been doing the color on the radio. I used to coach with Stuart when he was at South Carolina, but Stuart Lake, Al Lipsky of the athletic department, and Christy Davis and the Gamecock Club put on an unbelievable weekend for, there must have been 150 former players and coaches there. And we just had a great time. I haven't seen some of them players for 20 years. And the best thing about it is that I knew all their names. So I can remember what happened 20, 25 years ago. I can't quite remember what happened yesterday. But 20, 25 years ago, I knew everyone. I didn't mess anyone's name up. And most of them had more gray hair than me. So they made me feel good.
Of course, they don't color
And
their
they
hair,
all-
do they? Do they color their hair?
Well, they used to, and that's probably why it's all gray now. But I don't color hair. I don't know how to do all that color stuff, and I just don't do it. I guess I never had enough stress. You think working with Coach Tanner for 11 years in South Carolina and 7 at NC State and playing for him for 4 years, so that's 22 years, and he was the only one that brought me any stress in my life. And when he did, I just got on the road and went recruiting. Okay, so. It was an unbelievable weekend, and I think the players had fun. Even the guys that won the World Series and the guys that, you know, played for Coach Tanner. He had coached there for 16 years, you know, and I told him at the roast, the only ones, you know, the players only had to deal with Coach Tanner for 2, 3, 4 years, but I had to deal with him for 22. And Christy Davis, the administrative assistant, had to deal with him for like 26 or something like that. And poor Karen, his wife, had to deal with him for 32 so far. So there's a lot of people that had to deal with that guy. But honestly, it was a great weekend. The athletic department did the right thing by naming the field Ray Tanner Field. It couldn't have went any better other than, you know, it would have been nice if I could have got warmed up properly in order to catch that first pitch. But that's going to be haunting me for a while. But you know what? If God wanted us to look backwards, He would have put eyes in the back of our heads. I'm looking forward from here on out.
There you go.
I'm done worrying about that. Another shout out just for Coach Tanner, Hall of Fame guy, field named after. Here's a shout out. How about this one, Phil? Shout out to Indiana State, and you say, why? Well, they scored 20 runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's so good about that?
They scored 20 runs. It gave them a win. They won by scoring 20 runs?
No, they did it in 1 inning.
Oh, oh my gosh. One inning?
They ended up winning. I won't tell you who they beat. Well, it was Wagner. But anyway,
yeah,
36-6. But 20 runs in 1 inning, and I got to thinking, if they just threw it underhand like softball, there's no way you could score 20 in 1 inning, but they did it.
Wow.
And there's a lot of crazy scores out there. I don't know if you saw that, but Rhode Island beat William and Mary 36-22. Indiana State 36-6. Tarleton beat Butler 31-5. Wake Forest 24-6. High Point 20-8. Virginia Tech won 27-1. I mean, the scores, there was about 8 to 10 games where teams scored over 20 runs. It's just unbelievable.
What does that mean? Does that mean anything?
Well, I don't know, but in pro ball, no one hits 300 anymore, so you can't hit because everyone's throwing 90 to 100. But they can throw strikes, and they can throw change-ups, and they can change speeds, and they got nasty movement and nasty stuff. But in college baseball, you have an aluminum bat in your hand, and these kids are really strong. It's early in the year, and there's a real big emphasis with college kids trying to gain velocity and throw hard. Well, that doesn't work if it's straight down the middle. They're going to hit it. And if you don't have a breaking ball and you don't throw strikes and you don't change speeds, then you're going to get hit. Early in the year, there's a lot of wind blowing out. That's what it is, a big combination. The balls are a little juiced. The bats are back to balls flying out. I mean, there's 8 and 9 hole hitters hitting balls out. The kids are stronger. But I'll tell you one thing, my son's in pro ball, and they ain't hitting in pro ball. Of course, it's wood bat.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not, you know, they can hit some home runs, but no one's hitting for average. But a lot of high scores early on, and I think that was probably a function of a lot of weather, a lot of wind blowing out, I would assume. And a lot of bad pitchers and too many walks and too many hit-by pitches. But let's give a shout-out to Coach Maneri, 3-0 in his career. So great way to start for Coach Maneri. He's going to be a great coach, and I've already heard some of the players in the dugout talking, this is great. He's old school.
Yeah.
So one thing he's going to do, he's going to instill some toughness in him, and I think that's why Coach Tanner was really good, because Coach Tanner was tough as nails. I roasted him this past weekend, but the guy, the players played like he coached, and he got after it. He came to coach every day, and he was a tough guy. I think Coach Maneri will bring the same attitude to the players, which is very important.
Do you think?
Shout out to
going to Coach Maneri, he kind of strikes me as a father figure type because he's older, he's got his championship ring and all that kind of stuff. He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Does he come across to them?
Do not let Phil. Don't get geeked by how nice he is to the press and how nice he is to Phil Kornblut and how he smiles and how he's speaks well, very proper. The guy, when the game starts, I've talked to several players from LSU. When the game starts, the guy is tough, focused, and he's going to be hard on them players. I think that'll help a lot. So, yeah, he's nice, father figure, all that. But I'm telling you, if they don't play hard and they don't get after it, I have a feeling they're going to learn real quick that he's a tough dude too.
One more thing that he
absolutely.
has. I've heard him say a couple of times. He doesn't like walks. He doesn't like his hitters walking, per se. I mean, I'm sure he'll take a bases-loaded walk for a game-winning run, but by and large, he doesn't like walking, and he really, they had I think it was Will Tippett who got called out because he had 2 strikes against him. He got hit with a pitch, but looked like he kind of stuck his arm out there, so they called him out. He doesn't like his guys getting hit by pitches either. In other words, he wants his hitters to hit.
Yeah, well, that's just the mentality. He wants them to be overly aggressive because it's an aluminum bat, and these guys are big and strong, and the ball flies just like at LSU. The ball will fly when the wind's blowing out at Founders Park, Ray Tanner Field. That ball's going to fly, especially when it warms up and we get a little bit more wind going out. Now, this weekend it was blowing in a little bit from right center. But, yeah, I agree with them. Walks and hit by pitches are great. But if you got guys that are 230, 240 pounds and they're big, strong dudes, they got to hit 15 to 20. We got to hit 100 home runs. If we want to go to Omaha, you got to hit home runs. Plus, chicks dig the long ball. Okay, so I agree 100%.
And how many home runs? How many home runs did you hit in your career?
You know what? My senior year was my most. I hit 8.
Ooh.
But we only played 40 games. And I was hungover in half of them, so I felt like I was only at 100% for 20 games. But
in that little bandbox y'all played in at NC State, I went there for the regional last year. I didn't realize how tucked into the corner of the campus they got
that. It was 340 down the lines when I was there. They moved it into like 320.
Yeah.
They got soft and moved it in.
Yeah.
And the wind does blow out there, so it'll fly out there too.
Yeah.
But I did set the ACC tournament record for total bases. It lasted about 18 years, 25 total bases in 4 games.
Where was that tournament played? Where'd y'all play that tournament?
Durham Bull Athletic Park, the old one. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give it, I know I'm quick, I got to go. You shut me off quick here, and I like to talk. But Terry Rooney, the new pitching coach, 3 games, 3 earned runs, 9 hits in 3 games, 4 walks, and 45 Ks. Shout out to whoever's working with the defense. We only had 1 error in 3 games as well. And we only had 4 walks. Yeah, we hit a couple guys in that first game. But you're talking, a new pitching coach, a new philosophy. Looks like he's going to throw in some, obviously, with hitting a few guys. But when I was pitching coach, I wanted to limit on a weekend to 12 runs because then your ERA would be 4 or below. And they had 3 games and 3 earned runs, so I would assume their ERA is about 1 right now. But anyway, another shout-out to Coach Schnall. Got his first win at Coastal as a head coach. And you know what? They're 4-0 now. They beat Kansas State today. And he's picking right off, like where Coach Gilmore left off. So when you work for a Hall of Fame coach like Coach Gilmore, you're going to know how to coach. Plus, Coach Schnall he had his dad was a tremendous coach as well for a long time, so it's in his blood, and I look for him to be pretty darn good. Another shout out to Rhode Island. They won 36-22.
All right, we have hit the wall, but I'll tell you that PC's 2-1. They went 2-1 on the weekend.
Yeah, okay. I knew they would be over 500 because they got a heck of a program and a good coach. But we'll start talking about everyone as it heats up. But good start to the college season. Congrats to Coach Tanner.
All right, we got to go, and we thank you, and we'll talk to you next week. And thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master Plumber. See you tomorrow.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the